Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. It's a tale of two markets this morning. While tech and defense are catching a bid on massive contract wins and earnings beats, the healthcare sector is in a full-blown free fall. The Trump administration just dropped a bombshell 2027 Medicare Advantage rate proposal that came in nearly flat, up about less than 1%. Blindsiding Wall Street and sending insurance giants into double-digit haircuts. We're also watching a flight to safety surge in gold and silver again as President Trump hikes South Korean tariffs to 25% overnight. So let's break down the chaos here. What are we seeing across the markets? Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. What we see so far, futures are green, but Dow is the laggard. So taking a look first at the gainer on the morning, tech is still in the lead here. We see the NASDAQ just above 26,000 here on the E-mini futures at 26,010, up 62 basis points versus yesterday here. And we do see so far really using yesterday's high as today's low. So nice move so far today by the NASDAQ. S&P up 24 basis points, still showing a little bit of strength here, but consolidating at a little bit of a lower level. Again, that psychological $7,000 level is all we see talked about. And the Dow Jones down about a half a percentage point here, 54 basis points, 49,297. And the part of that that's really being dragged down is healthcare. Taking a look at the commodities as they start off here this morning, gold up 1.4%. 5,100 is the high of the day, 5,111. It's all-time high. It doesn't seem like the flight of safety is going anywhere, especially after the tariffs were named on South Korean autos, lumber, and pharmaceuticals. That's about the time we saw them jump up again. And silver, which you want to talk volatility, and I was just joking around with Mr. Charlie Moon over at Prosper. Even the Bitcoin bros are all betting on silver right now. We just announced that a Bitcoin whale was shorting the silver futures $36 million short with 25x leverage. So craziness across crypto. They're using the futures markets that can be traded, that silver futures can be traded on blockchain, and heavy leveraged shorts. So we'll see how that plays out. Not usually good. So we'll see how that turns out. 10-year yields are edging up a little bit as traders price in the potential inflationary impact of these new tariffs ahead of today's FOMC meeting kickoff. Tomorrow, though, is FOMC day, right? The day that we'll see Mr. Powell. Is it sort of the farewell speech? What does he do? Not much expected. It's about 98, 99%. No change to the rates. And we do still see, man, We'll have to find out from Mr. Flanagan where the bottoms are now. But we see the DXY 9662 continuing to slide as markets do treat the tariffs news as a negotiating tactic, while global traders seem to be flocking to those hard assets like gold. For me, this 9622 really becomes a line in the sand. 9622. So that's what I'd be looking at. But dollar down, rates up, risk on up. That doesn't usually work well together. So we'll see which one gives later today. Overseas are having strong lead in for us. The Nikkei up almost 70 basis points here. Hong Kong, China continuing to strive here. They come close to their all-time high at 27,126 here, up 1.35%. And Europe catching a bid here also very close to their 52-week highs at 612.52. So markets around the globe don't seem to give much way to all of the other turmoil that we see. So it's really interesting to see that sort of play out here. We'll see if that turns. The two big market narratives we have here, and today the big one's going to be earnings, earnings, earnings. So that is the big thing we'll be keeping an eye on. Big tech earnings are a gut check on AI capex, what investors want to see, what is the proof the spend is translating into growth and margins, not just being thrown into new, bigger data centers. That is definitely the AI story out there, the tech. And so far, that has been positive. On the other side, the negative I mentioned was the healthcare shock. United Health is dragging the Dow down after guidance and a Medicare Advantage rate surprise hit the entire managed care complex. We do have a huge list of earnings on. We just mentioned one of them, so let's lead it off with UNH. I feel like it's rinse and repeat when it comes to UNH. Every time they make this nice, strong moves up, they hit some sort of thing that brings them back down. It's deja vu. It's Groundhog Day. It's all those tied into one, if you ask me, right? And what we see here is, UNH down over 15% between last night's close and this morning's open. It's funny. I have this 289.49 sort of circled here as to the worst case scenario I thought we'd see. I really wasn't hoping it would play out that way, but that is what we're looking at so far. I think it gets kind of interesting from this point. UNH, very, very strong company. We don't tell you what to buy and sell here on Quasar, but I personally will be looking at UNH and maybe some of the others. I'm a big fan of UNH, quite honestly. It's recovered from all of these disasters. That's what I'd point out. We're going to get into another earnings report and discuss how similar they are with that setup. But, we can see after this huge drop down, they did take a further drop. But if you started buying at 231, even at 298, you're sitting pretty well. But it's recovered pretty much all of these drops. You can see the last time it got down to the level it was here was in mid-November. And as of yesterday, it had recovered almost all those gains. So UNH definitely should be on your radar here today, without a doubt. Humana getting hit hard on that news also, HUM. And you can see similar setup down towards the bottom of its 52-week low, which is 205 or 206 actually. So pretty close there. Humana, another major, huge company, getting hit here on the downside. Other earnings that have just come out. Boeing down about 2% here, almost 3.5% between last night and today. They did have both a top line and an earnings beat. I did see some takeaway there, though. Part of the problem with financials, where there's this 2,000% beat, is it was off of the sales of part of the, one of their facilities they sold off. That profit, one time profit, is built into what we're seeing there. So that does have them getting hit a little bit too. Micron was at earlier the best performer in the S&P 500 pre-market, up now about 3.9%. Stock surged as the memory chip maker said it would be investing a huge amount of money, somewhere in the vicinity of $25 billion in Singapore over the next 10 years, looking to take advantage of that surging demand. With that being said, some sympathy plays there. Take a look at SanDisk, SNDK, up about 1.73 on that. You do have Western Digital in the same area, up about 2%, and then STX. But I will warn, STX could be interesting because they're going to give you a secondary read here after hours. They report tonight. So we'll see there. Although actually it's looking like they haven't released yet from what I see. Okay, so that's what you're looking at on the chip sector. Others that have been affected today, Nucor is down on their earnings report here, down about 5% again, after the steel company reported weaker than expected adjusted earnings and revenue for the fourth quarter here. Steel prices have been rising, but so has the scrap steel cost. So that's been bad news for Nucor because the business relies on remelting scrap to make new steel. So that one's been there. One of Steve's 3 C's for the year, right? CoreWeave, data center provider, up here nicely now, up 10% in the last 48 hours. After the AI cloud company announced it has expanded its partnership with NVIDIA that includes a $2 billion investment from the chip maker. We'll point out that investment is being done by purchasing stock in the mid or upper 80s, about $87. So they're already sitting pretty nice on that investment. Deutsche Bank did come out and gave it a solid medium outturn look for them, and upgraded the stock to a buy from hold with a $140 price target. So we are seeing that. Their other earnings reports, UPS was up this morning on their earnings guidance. Still up 1.43, but off of highs of the morning. And again, their restructuring of their business since sort of making that split with Amazon was a big focus of this earnings report. This is a good read on the transportation sector, so it's always good to see that move in the right direction. Happy to see that so far. On the defense sector, was looking at RTX here this morning. They're up about 3% here this morning. They reported fourth quarter adjusted earnings of about $1.55 a share, well above the estimate of $1.47. Their net sales reached $24.2 billion, which was, I believe, a 12% increase year over year. They project their adjusted sales for the rest of the year at 92 to 93 billion, and earnings EPS to rise to $6.60 to $6.80. So it is moving to the upside on that news. The CEO said that they enter the year with great momentum and well positioned to deliver their 2026 financial outlook. RTX CEO Chris Calio said, "We remain focused on investing in new capabilities expanding production capacity and executing on our backlog to meet the growing needs of our customers. So, in light of the fact that they've been under some recent U.S. government criticism, this has been pretty good. RTX was one of the companies that the president called out for being slow to deliver military technologies. So RTX on the watch list here today. Be interesting if they can break above that 203 level to a 52-week high. Would be definitely an interesting one to watch there. GM, I mentioned yesterday, I would be keeping my eyes there today as it entered earnings. They are up about 3.8% here, which is a nice little boost on their earnings. They had both a top line and revenue beat, if I remember. No, top line miss, actually. But their EPS was a beat by 10.74%. And again, nice little move to the upside here by GM on that news. Like I said, earnings. There are just so many of them to hit on here. We also have, and if I leave out, go ahead and hit me up in the ticker. Anybody that has a particular earnings you want me to take a look at here that's coming out. And with Northrop Grumman, again, staying in the defense sector, they had both a top line revenue beat, an EPS beat up, or they're down 3.63% on that news. So it's not a tale of just hitting the numbers and people are buying. It's about the story. I'm trying to see if there's anything here that tells me why it's actually. Just says expectations maybe were a little bit too high, and they fell a little bit short of street consensus on their forward guidance. So not too much there that you really want to look at. Another one I want to keep an eye on or discuss this morning: American Airlines. We know the airlines had a rough day of it yesterday, right? They were down. They had a nice little recovery, so they were only down about 68 basis points yesterday. We're down more in the pre-market, but they have bounced back nicely, up 3.5% here this morning after their earnings came out. Excuse me. They reported fourth quarter earnings of 16 cents per share, did miss estimates of 37 cents a share, but they provided optimistic 2026 earnings per share guidance. They did raise those to well above, well, at least the top end of it, 270, well above the street estimate that's down around $1.97. On the other side of that, JetBlue got hit pretty hard here. After their earnings, down almost 10% in the last 48 hours here. They had wider than expected fourth quarter loss on 49 cents per share compared to the anticipated loss of 46 cents. So definitely a tale of two different companies there. So as Steve has been mentioning lately, right, it is a stock pickers market. You need to be looking at what's going on there. And these things, we're seeing some companies really doing well, and they're navigating the tariffs and other situations well, and other companies that aren't. What I haven't seen is much talk of layoffs on any of these. So that is the positive takeaway, I would say, on a bigger macro picture that I looked at overall on them. Trying to think if I had anything else really on those there. Not really. Those are the big ones that I had to take an eye on. Let's take a look at the morning's pumpers. So far, we do see, let's start out on the good side, not the bad side. Biggest gainer, again, KC Technology. They are a cloud company out of China, up again. Nice little 5-6 day move here, up at 14.55, up another 9% here. I have a tough time with this company and some of the other Chinese names because they can be so volatile and they move off of these headline numbers and headline more than they move off of their technicals. So be wary there. Corning, I miss Corning there in the intro. Definitely got to get to them. They're having a pretty solid move here, up about 7.42% this morning. And their big deal was this fiber optic cable deal for their data centers. So Corning is partnering with or making for Meta their fiber optic cables, and Meta is going to pay for $6 billion. So it's thought of as this is good for the capex side of Corning. Again, what I've seen mostly coverage this morning, talking about it in a positive, a positive light, in that it's Meta investing in its build out of the data centers, its need, and that combination, pretty good. So I did like that what the takeaways were on Corning, and you can see the price there just has absolutely skyrocketed, and it looks like it wants to, if it can break above that 102.95, it wants to make a move to the upside. Excuse me. Let's see what else we have here this morning on the movers. Well, this is good news. Maybe healthcare will bounce back. Is Dow bouncing back right now? Let's take a look. We do see HCA Healthcare, another one of the healthcare providers here, not really moving the needle much. That just did its earnings, actually has us moving, or has it moving up about 7% here. And an EPS beat, front line or top line revenue miss. Let's see what they're saying. Revenue for the period rose 6.7%. Doing a repurchase of $10 billion of shares. So that $10 billion of shares. So that is probably what has the needle moving here. Also, a quarterly dividend of 78 cents. I don't know what that compares. Let's take a look at their last dividend. 72 cents. So increased dividend, increased buyback, stock buybacks has that stock moving to the upside. So you got to like that from them. Maybe that gets, let's see if UNH or anybody else. I doubt it, because that's a different setup. That's, like we said, stock pickers. No, it's still moving the downside. So it shows you the difference here, and that, why it is, or how that it is a stock pickers market so far. General Motors, that was another earnings one I did want to hit on here. Sorry, forgot about that. Like I said, huge earnings week, just one after another. Earnings, GM up about 4.71%. I told you I wanted to hear what they were going to talk about with their EV business too. We got a little bit of insight here. They reported a fourth quarter loss of 3.31 billion, or $3.60 a share, after taking that $7.2 billion charge for electric vehicle adjustments. So the numbers come into play. Market likes when it knows the numbers. Excluding charges, GM would have earned about $2.51 a share, with revenue falling about 5%, which missed analyst revenue estimates. They announced, again, $6 billion stock buyback. So buybacks seem to be moving the needle more than anything else today. And they did increase their dividend by 3 cents to 18 cents per share. So similar to what we just talked about, this one following the same footprint as HCA. Buyback, dividend increase leads to stock increase in the price. So people seem to like it so far. They did say their fourth quarter loss widened to 3.31 billion, excluding the charges for a realignment of that electric vehicle capacity investments, as well as government policy changes. They would have earned 251 a share. So they were expected to come in at 226. So people are happy with that. They did take a look at their forward guidance, adjusted 2026 to between $11 and $13 per share, which does top the FactSet 11.95 estimate there. So that does have them moving again. So pretty good forward guidance, a stock buyback, and an increase in dividends. And the main quote I saw from the CEO, Mary Barra, was, for several years now, GM's strong brands and winning vehicles, as well as our technology driven services and operating discipline, have delivered consistently strong cash generation. This has allowed us to execute all phases of our capital allocation strategy, from investing in the business of our people to maintaining a strong balance sheet and returning capital to shareholders. So, again, strong quarter and strong earnings report for GM here has them up in the pre-market. Other gainers, we talked about AAL. Intel moving back to the upside, up 3.25%. So, again, we had seen a 2-day really big drop here. We don't have a full yet bullishly engulfing candle on the daily chart, but pretty close to that. If it gets any strength at market open, we could see that. That would be a strong start for sure for Intel on their return. Didn't I see that covered? Hold on one second here. No, not really. I thought I had some news there. The other one I was watching today, who's playing GME today? You know who's playing GME? And I didn't think I would say this one. Michael Burry. Michael Burry of, the Big Short fame, and the gentleman who has in the past shorted GM famously with his hedge fund. He has since closed his hedge fund, Scion Capital, but he is still in the news, and on his Substack, he is now a purchaser of GME, and that's really on the back of the fact of that he is a fan of Ryan Cohen. So I thought that this was interesting. He said that he believes in Ryan. He likes the setup, the governance, the strategy. As I see it, I'm willing to hold long term, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I am 15 years his senior, but not too old to be patient. And he compared Cohen to billionaire Warren Buffett. So I mean, I will say, the Wall Street Bets folks for a long time have backed anything Cohen did. It hasn't necessarily worked out for them so well so far. But, the stock's been moving up and he's been on board for the ride. So I do think that that is definitely interesting. Seeing the man was very anti GameStop, was a shorter of it. Now he's a buyer. And the fact, using big terms, when you say you think that maybe Ray Cohen is this generation's Warren Buffett. So I know that's got to have my man Big Beat wondering what the heck I'm talking about. I see he's getting ready to come in. Let me get his intro going here. And then I got to hit him on that right on the intro, because I am blown away by Michael Burry on this one. So let's do it, everybody.
When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, Big Beat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
Big Beat, how are we doing today, my friend? Are you buying GME with Michael Burry? I don't hear you.
Oh, hell no, I'm not buying it.
There he is, my man, my mellow.
I mean, what in the world is going on? The world is topsy-turvy, man. Look.
This is cats and dogs living together in peace, huh?
Look, I'm expecting the lion and the lamb to lay down together here. Like, what the hell is going on? Look, I it's interesting. I started working on a new thesis about how there's massive confusion in the world right now, and what is happening, and how can we play this, right? You see stock market up, you see metals up, you see the bond market pushing higher. It's not adding up in a lot of ways. And you look at it from the perspective of Steve Flanagan saying quantum convergence, and it is. I mean, there's this chaotic world that we live in. You would think that moments like Kent State would not be happening anymore. You think moments like around the world, these geopolitical issues going on, and it's just happening, and it's scaring people too much. And now, to add all injury to insult, Michael Burry, who absolutely hated GME, to now flipping around and loving GME.
And calling Ray Cohen this generation's Warren Buffett.
Yeah, I mean, I can call a June bug Warren Buffett. That doesn't make it so, right?
I mean, like I said, it's every time I think I've seen everything, this market and these, and the headlines want to prove me wrong for sure.
Silly.
Yeah. Well, I got to start with silver with you because you've been all over that trade a bunch of different times here. 111.45 again, up 7.27% here, Steve. What's happening?
Yeah, what's interesting to me is that if you look at ZSL, which is the inverse. The 2X Ultra inverse, is that it's only down 3%, and yet the silver is actually up 7%. So here we go. Listen, I've made this very clear. I'm still shorting. Yesterday, when you saw the biggest sell-off in history in silver, almost, I think it was $700 million worth of silver is gone.
The volume. Well, I mean, volumes are it's just insane.
It's insane, right? Look, supply and demand has not changed. This narrative that we talked about at $19 in silver. I loved silver at 19. Where was this nonsense going then, right? And then all of a sudden it started taking off a little bit at a time, and we thought that was the end of it at 55 and 45 and 55 and 60. It then took off because that's what happens. FOMO hits it. No, at one yesterday, almost 115. That was just asinine. And then, of course, the biggest short in history just happened on silver. So there you go, Michael Burry. If you wanted a big short, you had it yesterday. We called it. Thank you, Nicole Petalides. I think I mentioned that a couple of times. She mentioned it 3 times on Schwab Network over yesterday. How I nailed that one, and I'm doing it again. I'm right here with you. I'm about to double it down again on ZSL. I think this is absolutely asinine. I think we'll get back to $85 an ounce. And I keep hearing I know that's terrible on social media and narrative. Let me tell you something. I've seen this over and over and over and over again. And it's a win every single time. Short this nonsense and be done with it. I'm not telling you what to do. It's just that's what I'm doing. And it's been winning. So I'm okay with that.
Absolutely been winning. You've been crushing it with it. Steve, I'm putting something across the bottom here. I don't know if you've seen this, but now because silver futures are available on these crypto futures exchanges, Coinbase being one of them, Kraken, the others, 30 minutes before Trump's announcement of tariffs, we saw a huge position get open there. We're seeing multi-million-dollar positions. Crypto bros are all short in silver now. What's going on in the world? My whole Twitter feed is more and more silver, whether they're short and they're doing it with 25x.
That's why we built Quasar Markets. That's the very reason. We were ahead of the game by a year. A year, folks. We were buying silver 19 because that narrative that they now are using, we're ahead of the game. Now, silver's paying attention. The people there in back then, remember the narrative was we can corner the silver market. That's what the narrative was back then. And I laughed about that because it couldn't do it. And retail is not the one pushing this market, by the way, Howard. This is institutional. This is big money pushing the silver market around. But when you push the market around like this, the silver market's also being pushed around by these institutions and by governments.
I would say governments, central banks. There's a whole bunch of stuff at play here, right? I
And
mean,
don't think
that
for
is,
1 second that Putin isn't dumping his gold. He dumped a lot of gold over the last month so that he can continue
yeah,
to
because
finance his
he doesn't have any
war.
oil money. He needs his gold money.
You got it.
Right there. Steve, I'm going to take. Well, no, I'm going to stay there for a second.
Okay.
Is this why we have this convoluted play right now, where tech's up, commodities are up, bond rates are up? Is that part of it? Is that it is institutions are on the wrong side, central banks might be on the wrong side. There's such a repositioning going around globally. Everybody the sell America trade that's hitting, is not fake. It's going into this, right? This is part of, we saw Poland just made its biggest gold purchase, and they're a huge gold bug. I think I saw Peter Thomas said that.
I mean, yes, and yes. You
Okay.
nailed it on the head. I mean, there's question about this. Is exactly what's happening, right? Is that you look at this from a perspective of outside influence, and they don't care what the retailer are doing. They're going to take advantage of them. And when the retail here's what happened yesterday. When it was pushing up, yeah, I got a little nervous. I was like, wow, maybe they're just going to blow this to the top. It was because institutions were allowing it, right? They're like, okay, you're gonna 100x this thing, go right ahead, because I'm going to dump. You got 1,000x this thing, because I'm going to dump enough silver on you can't even swallow it whole, and we're going to take your money and you're going to ruin you. And I mentioned it several times. The number of retailers that got ruined yesterday, it's pathetic. I mean, I feel bad for them. My heart reaches out to them because they were listening to some idiot on social media saying, "Oh, it's going to go to the moon." It's to the moon. To the moon was being used on silver yesterday
because it's all crypto bros. I told you. I mean, it's just crazy.
Sad thing. And thankfully, we have places like here that we're on top of that. I know I got berated a little bit on social media. Oh, we're going to the moon. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't laugh back at people. I don't do that. I don't need to do that. Right. What I want to say to people is, hey, we're here to help. We're not here to hurt. We're here to help you to understand the markets. Put my 35 years of knowledge to work here. Let's try to make some money together. And I love that. Good morning, Zora. Very good. Yeah, I'm looking to short silver again here, and this is going to be great. I'll tell you what I am looking forward to, and change the subject a little bit here, is Apple, interestingly enough. They have a new thing coming out tomorrow, which might hurt Adobe. It's called the Creator Studio, and for I think it's $25 a month, you're going to get everything in their Creator Studio that they have live. So think of it like Canva on steroids for Apple, but all of them will be available and in a subscription format. That's never happened before. So think of all those things that they do, like the studios they do. That all is going to be available for $25 a month, and I like that. Yeah. So that, to me, I'm looking at Adobe stock a little bit this morning because I don't know how that's going to affect them yet. My theory here is that it probably will hurt them. I don't know yet, but that's my theory.
Yeah, down about 33 basis points, not much. Steve, what about, we're back to UNH. Here we go again. If it can't go 6 months without,
it's unfortunate. This is a quality company doing insurance that you would think that a Warren Buffett feel would be into this. Yet the president, I don't disagree with the president on this. I think that these payments are getting out of whack, and this is something I agree with the president on. And let's talk about that for a second. I agree with the president the way that he's acting in Minnesota by pulling back that guy. So it seems that the president is starting to act a little more presidential in this situation, knowing, hey, I screwed up. I like that. You know what? He's listening. I like that. That's a good move. And you know what? Maybe he's trying to make some good moves here. I understand he's under pressure. Well, he knows November's coming, and he knows he's in trouble, big trouble. So I like this move. I think this is smart, and I think he's being presidential. Ding, ding, ding. We're not always hard on the president. When they do good things and we think that they're doing the right thing for people, I agree with this. You can't always be for the people. You got to do what's right for the country in general. But this is good. My wife doesn't understand our health insurance because we have to have health insurance. In the UK, in the EU, you don't. It's just part of life, right? And you have no bill when you go to the hospital. You're not destroyed. And so I like this, and I think we need to go that direction. And lowering bills, that's socialism, folks. The president's going to what? So when I look at all of this, yeah, UNH, I think that some of these policies, we got to think about these policies and how it's changing. So yeah, I like this.
Would you be able? Are you buying any of these healthcare companies down here? I mean, after
Hell
the
no,
drop.
no. I mean, he's telling you that it's not good, right? He's telling you that. So no, I can't buy it now. There's no way.
Okay. Okay. There you go there. Steve, we've had a tale of two tapes. It's been the earnings calls that have come out and said, it hasn't really been about earnings and numbers. It's been about buybacks and dividends and future guidance, right? We see, GM, HCA both came out today and said, we're going to buy back some stock. We're going to give a little bit more back on our dividend, and we're going to raise our future guidance. And those are some of the major gainers today. What do you think we'll see the rest of the day on earnings today? We got a bunch of them coming up.
Earnings, I just don't think that no one's excited about earnings anymore. Because they're always excited about what's the future saying, right? It's about guidance. And, we really haven't heard a lot of good guidance out there yet. The only thing I keep hearing about is we're going to continue to spin on AI. And a good example that would be CoreWeave yesterday, right? And I said that money being spent is literally going to AI and to building the pickaxe and shovels. So, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like Corning's move here today? Up about 8% after announcement that Meta is going to pay for a large swath of the fiber cables going into their data centers, $6 billion worth, sharing the cost there and the build out. Does that change anything on either Meta or Corning for you?
I mean, Corning, for those of you who don't know, the ticker symbol is GLW. It's the original company is Glassworks. And that's what they've kind of stuck to that. Corningware makes a lot of products. And one of the cool products that they make is exactly what they call Gorilla Glass. That's on your phone. And Gorilla, I think we're in Gorilla Glass 3 now. Is that correct? I'm going to make sure that that's correct. But, as that gets better and better and better, yeah, we're in Gorilla Glass 3 now. I think I might even have a new one called Native Data Damage Resistance. I'm really liking what Corning here is doing. But you also have to think of the next level of this. And guess where that is made?
I don't know.
Mexico. So, question mark, right? I mean, if we're having problems with Mexico, what happens here? And I think that's a problem. So, there's a lot. Yeah, the new Gorilla Glass is called Victus, I think. Yeah, that's the new one. I'm looking at it now. Let me see if I can pull this. I'll try to present my screen here if I can.
You got it. Yep, it's all you.
There we go. Gorilla Glass called Glass Victus. And this is what goes into. There you go. 8 billion devices later. Wow. So when you look at companies like Apple and Android and these companies that are putting these Glassworks into your system, you have to look at it and say, okay, what does it do? And here's the advanced optics. Here you go. And it's really crazy where they put this. This guy's going into all kinds of products. And so for this, yeah, I do like Glassworks. I do like Corningware. So, oh wow, we're seeing silver dropping here now. Just dropped from 112 to 109 here in a heartbeat. It's kind of what I figured. Here we go again, right? That's what, and I said that earlier. Don't keep your eye on ZSL, because ZSL telling you everything, that there's a reason why it's not going down. People are loading up on the short side of this now, so be prepared. Yep. Out there, be careful. But my point is the same here. I do like this. I do like what they're doing here, and this glass is very good, and they're all over the world. I mean, automotive displays. For those people who don't have it yet, they also work the ones in the front of your windshield where you can see the windshield and see the speedometer and the odometer and all that fun stuff, making glassware better. And here's another thing they also do, and I like, is the life science technologies. This is the packaging. So think of it like your GLP-1s and 2s may be coming in this soon, right? And things of that nature. So there's a lot of cool products that Corning does, and I do like this. So yeah, if you bring up if you could bring up a chart, I'm sorry, should this tab instead. If you could, Howard, bring up a chart of GLW, and let's get to it and show people what exactly what I'm talking about when I say why I like it. And if you could pull up a daily chart here.
There you go.
And yeah, it's up 9% today. So I've been talking about Corning for a while, obviously, and I like it, what they're doing, and I like the products they're building. So what's interesting to me is not that. Okay. What is interesting to me is the $81 billion market cap. This is a company that could get bought out. And wow. Yeah, if you look at that from a perspective, 80. Okay, let's repeat that again. Okay, how many billions is it worth? And Apple's worth what? Almost 4 trillion, 3.75 trillion. I mean, they could drop pennies out of their pockets and buy the actual product that goes into their system. And it's in automotive, and it's in life sciences, and it's on all these products. A massive company could go, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to buy part of the companies that put the product into my company. So this could very well be part of that product. I don't know that. I'm speculating, obviously. Oh, wow. We are really seeing silver getting absolutely crushed again here. And ZSL now green here in the morning, and it's not. Yeah, we're not even started yet. Wow. Yeah, I would not be long this. This thing is stupid. Look at that drop. Now I will tell you one thing that I do like. If you look at silver now on a 1 hour chart, pull up linear. Yeah, 1 hour. Pull up linear regression. You're seeing exactly what I think everybody else is seeing right now at the bottom at linear regression now. So there is trading going on in the spot. So be careful. This is exactly what's happening here. 108.42. I think we might get under 100 possibly today. Yesterday I said we'd go red before the end of the day, and it did. And it bounced back up. Man, I don't get me wrong, I was nervous at 115, really nervous at 115. And it kept on going at what 118, something like that yesterday. But that was, and I said, look, the mother of all shorts is coming, and it happened. We're going to see it again. I mean, this is what's going to happen. So
I love it. We do see we are about 12 minutes from the open here. Advanced decline at about 1293 here. So pretty decent breadth on the market. Tick down about 171. We do see the NASDAQ down about 57 basis points. The S&P, up 57 basis points. S&P up 20 basis points. Dow Jones still the laggard, down about 68 basis points, and the VIX flat on the day. Steve, what are you going to want up there when we get to the open here?
Oh, it is 919 there, Howard. So you've got to run, but yeah, I'm thinking the market's kind of quiet here. I think Bitcoin runs to 89,000 today.
So we got a little. It's going to be interesting. I'm a little nervous right now on where Bitcoin is on a short term. It's just more, again, this trend line that I have up on the daily, Steve. We can't break it right now. It's a pretty simple one. We keep pushing towards it, and it's the perpetual futures. But what I will say is we will talk more tomorrow morning on the pre-market show about it. We're starting to see whale accumulation in the right way under the surface. So that is a positive that we want to see. So that is definitely going to be a lead-in for us tomorrow. Okay, I am going to get out of here for my side. Big Beat's going to take over the screen. Everybody have a fantastic day.
All right, everybody, let's get to it. I'm going to present my screen here. I'm going to share it as we go into it and just talk about exactly what it is that we have been seeing here on silver. This is a 10-second chart. It is hot right now. I understand that. And look, be careful out there, folks. There's a lot of companies out there that are looking to dump their silver. Here's what's happening out there too as well. A lot of folks, it's getting older folks also excited too as well, and they actually have silver. The silver the kids have is degenerative silver, as I call it. It's just flat up zero DTEs and options. They're trying to win a bet here, I guess. But when grandma and grandpa start putting, and I heard it at least 20 times yesterday, I'm going to get my silver from my parents. I'm going to get my silver from my, you know what? All that silver I have in the junk drawer, I'm going to get it out now. And I'm going to start melting it down. And I'm going to, yeah, okay. Then they're going to the places and they're not accepting it, right? Oh, or some places are accepting it. They're saying, yeah, we'll take it, but we'll give you a 20% haircut. Normally in silver, you get a 10% haircut. In this case, it's 20%, 30%. I mean, I remember somebody say the other day, I'll pay you $90 for, because they're scared. They don't think it's going to go higher here. So I just be careful out there as we look forward to it. I think I said it earlier, ADBE. We'll pull up Adobe here as well. I really think Adobe is really struggling here. And I think if you look at the daily chart, there you go. It was up a little bit yesterday, but for me, the new Creator Studio is very interesting to me because they're very expensive products. I'm going to pull that up. You can probably look at it for yourselves here, but I'll share. There you go. So tomorrow, get this: Pages to build websites, Compressor. This is Main Stage. This is going to be Numbers. They'll have different looks now. Motion, then obviously the Freeform, and then you have Keynote and Studio, Final Cut Pro, and then Studio. All of these things coming in. Pixelmator Pro, Logic Pro to make videos. It is going to be very, very cheap, and I cannot believe they're doing it for the price they are. Look at this. A new subscriber, $12.99 per month. Wow, these are $300 and $400 products. They're going to do that for you. So that's interesting right there. If you get a new iPad or Mac purchase, you're going to get 3 months free. And students and educators, if you're a student, you're going to get it for $3 a month or $30 a year. So this is really, to me, going to, in creators, as we know, is the big thing right now. If you're a creator like myself, this is going to change the game in a lot of ways. So I definitely expect this to be a big deal. Wow, it's crazy what Apple's doing, and I understand what they're doing. They're going to really change the game here. Making pages, making creations very easy. So I expect this to be a big win in Q1 for Apple. So be very careful. All right, I got about 6 minutes now until the open. I'm going to turn on the cues here. We will keep our eye on the cues. I'm going to put it on a 5-second chart so that everybody gets a good picture of it here. I expect a little bit to the upside, but I don't. It's not much here that I'm really excited about just yet. So yeah. All right, any stocks out there that you guys are interested in, let me know. We're right here. Kremlin says they're going to meet the Syrian president here January 28th. Kremlin's now saying Putin will meet Syrian president on January 28th. That is tomorrow. So maybe that's some creative proto way to put it together. I don't know, but it's interesting there. All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, repost this thing for us. I appreciate that for sure. That would be very nice of you. I appreciate that. We're absolutely doing quite well here. We appreciate all the support we've got over the time. I'm loving it. And, we got a lot of cool things, products going on. So I like this. I like what we're doing. And we'll talk about it here pretty soon. But we've got, as you know, a new platform, new apps, new modules, New everything coming very, very soon. So we'll have that for you, as well as a new website, and it all works together, Web3. So we are really loving that too as well. Appreciate that. All the supports out there from you guys. All right, here we go. Got about 5 minutes now. We'll pull up ZSL here as it's kind of pulling back just a wee bit here. And of course, we will pull up silver. Trying again to do the downside. The 1 hour chart, as I had earlier up there, really, really told you where the sells were. And I think what you're seeing now is flags are now being created. So what do I do with flags? If you like charts like I do, there it is. There's your range, and it's almost right on target. So probably you'll see silver somewhere around. Let's see if I get this right. There we go. And there it is, 110.82. That's probably where we're going to start settling, but we're still negative. And then if I'm guessing, which I don't like to guess, somewhere around here, $90 is the first pullback. Remember, this is a 1 hour chart, but you've got a lot of resistance that happened back literally a few weeks ago. Could be now become support. We know that's the old adage. Resistance become a support, and that's where I think we'll probably pull back to, and that makes more sense to me. That makes more sense to me, right? That makes more sense to me now. So all right. I am long link. For those of you who don't know, I have started buying down here. Anywhere 1150, I've been buying quite a bit of it. I do like this. The reason being, my thesis again is because of the New York Stock Exchange using it. And look, we have a lot now. I have my thesis, why I want to buy it, why I want to own it, and now I have support down here at 1130, 1150s. 1150 is where I'm really hot. 1230, I'd be buying more. I think this gets back to about $15-16 pretty soon. You can see it starting to line up a bit here too as well. I do like that. I'll try to pull up. There you go. I'll pull up a weekly chart. This is what I'm saying. Higher lows, and this is where it's getting sold off. So you've got a pretty good range to play in here, 27 to 12, and you're finding the bottoms again. So it takes about 3 to 6 months if you're willing to play with it and hold it. That's where we're at. All right, let's get to it. We have about 2 minutes. I think the question mark now, for those of you who have asked me about silver again, let me pull this up for you. This is the weekly chart. Look at that massive wick that went up there and stuck up there, and that's what happens. And that's why I like this. Look at that, crazy. That's what happens. So if I go back in time and show it happens here all the time. So just be careful out there. We've seen it again and again and again. And, yep, your charts are worthless when it comes to things like this. But keep your eye on it on a smaller day. There you go. See, it's struggling. This is a 1 minute chart. It's struggling a lot. So, and it looks like people are loading up on ZSL here. So that means that they don't think we're going to go higher. Okay. All right. 1 minute to open here. I'm going to put on a 1 second chart so we can get a better, clear picture of silver and see what it does. Here we go. We got about 30 seconds. All right, 108.50. We're now open. So there it is right there, 108.70 here, pushing. So we can see that silver is definitely moving. We're gonna keep our eye on silver because I think that's the play today. I think that's what everybody's looking at. And I am probably still pushing here. So I'm still pushing. And I probably will load up now on ZSL here. I am loading up here. See if I can't get in here. Still not in. Yep. Still not in yet. I am trying to get in loaded in here if I can, but not quite in yet. Keeping our eye here. XAG 108.51. There's pop to 60, 108.62. Really nothing going on here yet. Yeah, I will say that the most definitely that this train's running. Volume is very high here. QQQ here now, pushing higher now, but not by much. We'll pull up a 1 minute chart here. We're seeing quite a bit of volume here, though. Still not in ZSL just yet. Starting to see Qs pull back just a wee bit here. Still not in yet. Kind of interesting. There's a lot of interesting moves here in ZSL on the silver here. This is a massive fight here, folks. This is an interesting silver move here. There might be setting up for a big dump here. I would be very careful here. If we look at the 3 minute chart, which is what Wall Street uses, it could be, yeah, this is getting very interesting here. $109 now on silver. And ZSL not really moving much. They're loading up on the short side here, so be careful. Hence why I'm doing this. This is very interesting here. This is keep your eye very tight here, folks. Considering how much volume is going on and there's not much movement, this is a massive fight here. So we're going to go one way or the other really quickly, and probably could happen very, very quickly. They are loading up here to do something here. You can definitely tell as the price fight is very. The spread here is also pretty thick for normally a spread on a should be a penny, and the spread is way more than that now. So this is interesting. There's a massive bid and ask fight here on silver. And ZSL not moving here. So this is going to go one way or the other here in just a few minutes. Could go up here, could push up here. 109.20. There you go. There's your push. And could not push it up. All right, I am loaded up now with ZSL. We could push the upside a little bit here, and then I think you can see where on the 3-minute chart, it could be a little bit of push the upside here. Charts are turning for them for the longs, but man, this is just an interesting play here. Didn't get all the way down, did it? Yeah. You can see right in my lines. If they don't push this up now, they're going to shove it down again. Bitcoin 87.7 right now, not holding the 88 handle. You heard that from Howard earlier today. Let's get to the Qs real fast while that's happening. Q still selling off here. Could go negative here on the markets. Dow already down 360 points here, as we're starting to see, pull back here. Market does seem a bit weak here. Intel, one of the high flyers lately, also selling off too as well. XAG, are they showing it now? Is this where the selling starts to happen again? Yep. Could not push it up. Get back below 109 here soon. It could be off the race to the downside again. Quick blast. There's more more dumpings now coming in. I've had a feeling this was going to happen. If we get below 109, this could just really drop. If not, then we're stuck in a trade. There it is. More sellers coming back in. The bids are not coming in. This is a fight. I've not seen a fight like this in metals in a long time. So this is interesting here. This is not a one-sided trade anymore. Kramer now saying that UPS and KMB together is part of a safe dividend portfolio. Another push to the upside here on silver. They got to break it up here, though. If they don't, then down she goes again. Yep, a little bit of a break there. Okay. $1 move. You saw that, folks. $1 move in silver, just in like nothing. That is not normal. Pull up a 1-hour chart. Still not showing me what I need to see. 3-minute chart. Still not showing what I need to see. Now, this is a massive fight, folks. I think we're going to see something here pretty soon. This is turning again. I don't want to just harp on silver today, but I think it's the big trade today. Obviously, still, you can also see dollar yen as the dollar, the Dixie, is still weakening, folks. 96.42. You heard yesterday. If we got 96.50 somewhere around here, that Steve Flanagan would be out. He does not like this. The weakening dollar is probably not good. We saw this in several times in our history, but this isn't really a weak dollar just yet. So we know that. We know this is not quite a weak dollar yet. 109.9. Okay, we're about to hit 110 here on silver. As the 3-minute chart, we ought to use 3-minute chart. That's what Wall Street uses, and that tells me everything about I need to know. $110.08, $110.11 there. One ten oh seven now, 110.05 here, 110.02. If it can't hold, there we go. Yeah. Is it going to break below again? Yeah. You can see it right here in the MACD. Relative strength is not really showing me strength in this place. So if they can't get the strength up there, then we could have just a run to the back down again. We'll see. But this is a massive fight. Look at this. As I drew the lines earlier, and look where it's at, right in the middle. It is dead center. Look at that. we see a little bit more dropping here, we know which way it's going. But this is a quiet, but hard and fast move though. And ZSL not really moving, 184, 185, right where we were. So they are still loading up the shorts here. So be careful out there. I've said this a couple times. They're loading up the shorts to go down. So I don't know what. Look, if they're fighting it out, I don't know, but it seems here that this is an issue here. Let's get back to the Qs here. As Dow down at 380 now. Q's trying to hold a little bit steady here. Dollar yen. We talked about dollar yen now. Really getting beaten up over the dollar, getting beaten up over the last 3 days as intervention by the Fed in Japan has become an issue. USAR getting spanked again. Jumped a little bit this morning here as the rare earth metal company. Now down about 2.7% here. I think we've hit the limit there with that one the other day. Yeah. And if you'll notice, there's a big gap here, and it should cover that gap here. 2507, somewhere around there is probably where it's going to close the gap. XAG, look at that. Round tripper, baby. Round tripper back down. Look at that. Now down $1 again. Look at that thing. That is just the movement in this thing is, while it doesn't look like a lot on the charts, in reality and in history, this is a lot. And this is not normal to move $1 like that fast. So, yeah. And I am, as everybody knows, I am short silver here. So I'm not talking about what to do or buy or sell. No, I'm not trying to get anybody to do anything. I don't care less. You're not going to change the markets at all. Roblox. We talked about Roblox the other day. We had Paul on here. Paul's favorites, and he does not like Roblox. He said he does not like it. Why? He had a thesis. His thesis was the new security measures on Roblox. Look at that. It's down again. If you look at a 1 hour chart on Roblox, he's got it right. And over the last few days, it's down another $6. So he nailed that one. And we thank him for that. Look at this. 108.53 now. There it goes to the numbers. And ZSL now 188. Yeah. Now, if it bricks down here, now there it goes, 108.22. Bricks even further. I really think we're going to go back to $85 an ounce. Citi just raised the price target on silver to 150 an ounce. I just think that's crazy. And nobody believes them. 108 about the break here, about the break below 108. I am still short. I'm still short silver, yes. ZSL now at 190 for those of you playing at home. 191 now. Looks like another drop is setting up here, folks. Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index now hit the weakest level since March 2022. No bids here now in silver, looks like. No bids. That was a drop there. Whew. Yeah, 1 hour chart still showing negative here. Still dropping here on silver. All right. Looks like some bids are coming in a little bit here. Yep. There's 108. Keep our eye here on the Qs again. Qs still pushing higher. All right, another drop here in the right below 108 again. Here we go again. I'm still short. I'm staying short, folks. I think this is a week. Keep our eye on this tight area right here. We break below that bottom there, we could go even. This thing could really drop. Bottom could fall out here. There is a massive fight. Short covering could happen a little bit, but I don't think so. I'm staying short. I don't like this market at all. There it is. There it is. There's the drop. Woo! Man, I mean, it's like $3 dropping, and that's just, if you think about it, back in the back when silver was around 19, right? You got it. I mean, that's just nuts. One knows. Another wick down there, the bottom side. We could get below. Look, we could get below 105 very quickly here if this thing continues to break down. It's 106.80 now. Still weak. Still selling here. Wow. It could go negative here on silver on the day. And we are about to continue to go negative here. I think we could hit 10, the 105 area soon here, unless we start to see a little bit of buying here. And I have covered a half of that position that I just did earlier. I've covered half of it. Got to make money. You got to make it. I'm still short the main position. This thing could just fall out of bed here. New lows of the day. Of the session, I should say. We could drop below the 106 handle here very quickly. The dumping could get very, very wild here. $193 now in ZSL. Anybody wants me to look at other stocks right now, let me know. I'm happy to do that. But right now, we are keeping our eye on silver. I know that's the big play today, so I'm keeping my eye here on silver. There we go. We're dumping again. No bids. Doesn't look like any bids coming in on this thing. Yeah, no bids. Oof. If we break here, it'll be the lows of the day. We're right at the low of the day. There it goes. There it broke through again. Could be 106 here pretty soon. 105's handle's coming up, looks like. I think that maybe where the bottom could be, where they're starting to buy down there a little bit, picking some up off the ground there. Those nickels in front of steamrollers. Yeah, we'll see. It's now 10 o'clock. All right, now they're selling here. I'm going to stay with you guys here a little bit. I do have a meeting to run to at some point, but I think I'm going to stay with you if Intel now pushing up here a little bit, now up 2.6% here. Amazon says they plan on 100 new Whole Food stores. 100 new Whole Food stores, Amazon. Amazon now $239.29 now share. Let's get back to silver, 107.06 now. Let's see if that's where it's at. No, we cannot hold it up there. Oof, that's very weak. $106.72. Here we go again. Now you can see where support became resistance here. Yeah, consumer Fed comp index -6, forecast was -5, so that's not good. And it looks like consumer confidence coming at 84.5. Forecast there was for 91. So our consumer confidence, no bueno. No bueno there on consumer confidence. Dow now getting down 420 points here now. The Nasdaq slipping too as well. That should add some benefit to metals. We'll see here. I don't see it as that much of a deal, but it could be. And don't forget the FOMC meeting is today. I do not expect the Fed to lower rates tomorrow, and they're having the meeting today. It's a two-day meeting, as everybody knows. And we'll hear what Powell has to say tomorrow. But for those of you here at Quasar Markets, thank you so much for watching. And it looks like we made some money again today. So congrats, everybody. I'll talk to you tomorrow.